Hey, good morning, Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us again on your local Las Vegas real estate news show, Realty Check. And we're here bringing you the news of what's going on in the real estate market here in Vegas. We're in August now already of 2022, and we have a market update for you. So that's what we're going to be talking about today on the show.
Always at the first of the month, right?
Yeah.
So welcome to Realty Check. I'm Tiana Carroll, your co-host with Trish Williams, and today we have a special guest, Leah Silva, who's coming in, and we are all local real estate agents who are going to talk to you about what is happening in the past month.
Yes. So we have the LVR, Association of Realtors, has released all of the July numbers. I'm forgetting what month we're in. Oh my gosh.
That's because we're already in August. It's mind-blowing.
Yes, it is. And those, the official report is not out yet. So they release the numbers and then they create an analysis report, which we haven't received that yet, but expect some headlines once that is released.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've already started to come out with headlines, right? We have things like Zillow and Redfin who have done their projections and let us know. And they didn't do it solely in Las Vegas, but we are one of the 6 cities that they did note for all the different stat changes.
Yes, we love making the news. Thanks, Vegas.
Hey, there's no bad publicity. Come on, man.
Yes, especially in real estate, right?
Right.
So our weekly numbers that we have here, this week we had 215 price reductions, and our current single family inventory is 7254. What are you feeling out there, Leah? Leah, sorry.
You're fine. No, I've definitely been seeing that and feeling that on our end too. It's crazy to see these numbers jumping up from where we were even just 5 months ago, 4 months ago, in comparison to last year. It's been a fun time out there when you're working with both the buyers and sellers in our market. Our buyers are like, we have options, what's this? And sellers are a little confused right now, and some of them may still be living in a few months ago. So it's really been an interesting time to address.
Yeah, working with buyers has gotten fun, right? So it's back to, we looked at 12 houses today, and tomorrow let's look at 20 more.
Okay, so I don't do that. I mean, like, we see 5 houses a day if we're going to do it, because then it just becomes overwhelming. But yeah, there are options out there, and it is so much more fun, right? To go out with buyers and now have options, and then I get to know their personalities a bit more, and I feel like I'm fine-tuning and really building better relationships and not being slapped around by the market as much. But now we're just seeing that on the seller side. Yeah. Now the market's slapping us around with sellers.
Right.
Yeah. So the buyers are definitely getting to find that perfect dream home now. So if your home, there was a time where, like, if they didn't want carpet, it didn't matter. You were just like, hey, you're going to have to change that yourself. Now they can actually
and condition
look for,
of the house,
yeah.
right? It became like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath is selling for this amount. It doesn't matter the condition. And now we're starting to see the prices for 3 bedrooms, 2 baths changing. If it's turnkey ready and desirable, it's moving faster and it's still staying at those high market values. But if it needs some work, then those prices are coming down. People don't mind making lowball offers anymore because they have options. The investors have gone back to, instead of paying market value, just lowballing to see what they can get.
60% is what I've been hearing on average from the investors of what they're paying of market value.
Yep.
So they're back to, it's back to being,
it's old school,
where you get a cash offer. That offer is going to be substantially below what you can get on the market. But we're back to the days where when you put your home on the market, you can't just slap it on the market. You've got to get that home ready.
Yep.
You have to go through a consultation. So we're back to doing those walkthroughs, before the home gets listed, walking through and telling the seller, you have 2 weeks to get this ready, and this is what we need to do. And if it's really bad, we need to hire a stager.
Yes, yes. Yeah, deep cleaners, stagers.
Yeah.
Let's get all these little things repaired before we go on market.
Yeah, so we are back to, it's a beauty show. You have to have the best house. You've got to stand out amongst the competition, or else it's just not happening.
Yeah, you will sit, and that's the reality of what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
If your home's not in that top tier.
Right. because that's, I mean, literally our numbers are growing 20% month over month in inventory, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that was, you had some statistics on that from.
Yeah, so the Las Vegas Review-Journal, they went ahead and compiled a list of numbers from Redfin and from Zillow. I can't believe I'm saying those words.
Oh, come on, they're both reliable sources.
So reliable, so reliable. I love that the news just went to them. But there were 6 cities that they cited for it. It was Las Vegas, Orlando, Milwaukee, Dallas, and Seattle. And Vegas, we ranked highest in all of them.
Yay!
So we had 27%, well, 20% month over month in interest. We had about 22% in price reductions. I do want to talk about that because we've had some interesting comments on what those price reductions look like. I think the general public, you know, hears price reductions and they think that values are dropping. But that's really not what we're seeing, at least in our Las Vegas market. Yes, we are having 22% price reductions, but what are those reductions looking like for you guys?
Sometimes I see them as minimal as $2,000 to $3,000, which is not even substantial, compared to the list price. In some cases, I feel like the price reductions are just to keep the listing relevant, to push it back out to everybody.
Yeah, to get more eyes on the property once again, to be at that top of the list, so that way people are like, oh, this house is still on the market. Take a look.
When I ran through the numbers on Monday on what the price reductions in our MLS look like, they were not substantial. I think I was seeing on an average 3%, but those are people who are just dropping off 0.5% versus the people who are cutting, you know, 8 or 9%.
Right.
So
what we are seeing a lot of is seller concessions. We've been talking about a lot on the show. Is that something that, you know, buyers should be asking for, or could, to weigh, you know, balance out the interest rate rates that are raising? But I'm seeing a lot of those in like Blast and the promotions that we get come across our inbox, of sellers offering for a buy down, sellers offering to pay the buyer's closing costs. There's a lot of different incentives out there, and from the builders as well.
Yeah. So that was on this report where the Las Vegas Review-Journal compiled that there was a substantial cancellation of new construction homes because of the price reductions. And Leah, you had a client recently who went into a new contract, right?
Yeah.
And then within, what, 2 weeks?
Less than that, they had dropped the price by $30,000.
Yeah.
New construction?
New construction.
Yeah. Wow.
And they are honoring it.
That's
so
good.
they are reducing the price, and then,
Well,
Shout
they
out
don't
to
want
the
to
good
lose.
builders.
I know, we appreciate you.
They don't want to lose buyers right now, because think about this, and where we were, just rewind to last year. So people that went into contract on a new construction last year, they're 6, 9, 12 months out because of supply delays. So right now we're in this spot where these people that were in contract that got approved at a 3% rate are now within that 30-day closing timeline, and their rates are substantially higher, their payments substantially higher. Can they still qualify? And if they can still qualify, do they want to still move forward with this? You know, and if you're talking about a $3,000 to $5,000 on average earnest money deposit, some people say I'll just walk away from the deposit because I can save $20,000 to $30,000 on the purchase of another home.
Yeah.
So the numbers make sense. So the builders, they don't want these people to walk. They don't want them to walk. They don't want to lose any buyers, because then they're stuck with a bunch of inventory.
That was the same conversation I had with my buyer when he saw this drastic price reduction in the base price, and he said, I will walk away from my $5,000 and buy the house for $30,000 cheaper tomorrow.
Right. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're going to put it back on the market, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like they don't want to sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is one thing, again, I feel like I've been preaching this, is there's deals out there, buyers. Like, if don't let these rates scare you. And have you gotten this where the consumer, because the rates are raising, the consumer thinks that the rates are way higher than what they really are?
Yeah, I actually have. I had a phone call 2 days ago, and they were like, oh, I'm not going to buy now. I mean, I'm not going to pay 7-8%. And I'm like, whoa, we dipped twice this week. Like, there's 2 different contracts that we went into where we were able to lock in with a lender. lower prices than what they were quoted during their buyer consult.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I spoke with somebody the other day that said, he's like, oh, rates are at 9% now, right? And I was like, 9%? Jeez,
Don't put that out there. We're not ready for
Where
that.
are you getting this information? I was like, no. He's like, well, I've been hearing that they're just raising, and last it was 6, and then it raised another point. So he's, I guess, calculating in his head what these numbers should be. And I'm like, no, it's not true.
Yeah, last week when the feds raised the actual interest rate on lending money, then everybody assumed that that transitions directly into the housing sector, and it doesn't, right? It trickles down, but it's not instant. And we saw dips right after that, and I was like, lock it in, lock it in, sign it, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Go.
Just because there was a 0.75 increase in the Fed rate does not mean that mortgage interest rates went up 0.75%.
Right.
Take it there. There's a different formula, a different way that it's calculated, and it doesn't automatically transfer over that way.
Right.
So that is a big consumer misconception.
It is. So we're here to clarify for you guys.
But yes, buyers, no, rates are not, as today, they are not today, August 2022, they are not 9%.
Yes, no, they are not. Thank goodness.
Yes, not even
goodness.
close. Not even close. We can still lock in a lot of people in the 5s, and there's even some that are a little bit below. So there's obviously formulas and situations can change, but.
Right, we had a client lock in at 5.45, and then they had a 2-1 buy down from the seller. So they were able to knock that down a couple points for their first year, and then 1 point in the second year, and yay, they're happy. By then they can hopefully refinance down to a more stable rate.
Yeah.
That gives them time and flexibility.
Yep.
I like that.
Absolutely. So there are deals out there to be had for buyers. That is great news. And I seen a house the other day where we're not seeing specifically prices come down, yet we are seeing some prices sell below market value. Some homes close, mostly generated by just the sellers are scared that they won't sell the home, so they'll take the offer. I seen a home that is, an entry-level starter home, very nice condition. The comps in the area were 450 to 460 based off of the recent sales within the last 3 months.
Right.
And it closed at 400,000. So
Wow.
someone came in, they were listed at 460. Someone came in and lowballed them, and I guess the sellers said, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing with some of my buyers too. They're like, let's risk it. We're gambling. Let's just come in low and see what happens. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. I don't want to scare our sellers too much thinking like the sky is falling, because homes are still selling.
Yes.
They're sitting longer, but they're still moving, right? So I love that. And a lot of them are still getting, fair market value. They're not getting the cash over appraised value, and they're not pushing home values up higher and higher with those over appraised value sales, right? So that's nice. It's leveling out, correcting itself.
It's the sellers now knowing that. I think there's some of them are becoming a little scared, right? Because previously it was 2, 3, 4 days, you have 14 offers in front of you, pick the highest and best, have a fun time. Now, if the home's sitting for a week, the sellers are like, what's going on? Why is this happening? And so that's why it's so important for us as agents when we're going out there to advise our clients and prep them for what our market is doing now.
Right, the reality of it.
The reality of it. And our days on market have gone up.
Yes, we've traditionally always been in a 60 to 90 day market of having, that's how long a listing should, if it's priced well, if it's presented well, that's how long a listing should take to sell. So again, panic, fear is driving people to make bad decisions, and that's why when they take a lowball offer the first week, thinking that that's the best they're going to get, sometimes your first offer is the best you're going to get.
Usually,
let's be honest.
statistically.
Depends on how you're priced, and there's a lot of things that factor in there, but if, that is, if you're thinking that your home hasn't sold in a week and it's not going to sell because it hasn't sold yet, that's not realistic thinking. We need to get back to normal.
Right. Yeah. Our market is still very active and very strong, and I think people need to realize that, and they just need to understand that it's just not going to be as fast and furious as it was. We're moving more into the traditional way we used to do business pre-pandemic chaos. So, they're going to sit a little bit longer. They're still moving. Your turnkeys are going to move faster than your fixer-uppers. Investors are now having the opportunity to come in. So I like all those corrections.
Yep.
And speaking of corrections,
Yes.
so did you guys see what happened to Open Door this week?
Yes. So do we know who they are?
Who's Open Door? I never heard of them.
They are they are one of many of the they're
iBuyer
iBuyers
sector.
iBuyer sector. Yeah. So they are cash. They run these advertisements. They'll buy your home for cash. You'll make more money than you can traditionally selling your home.
Right.
No headache, no repairs, all this wonderful, great news.
Right,
It
we're just
sounds-
going to come in, we're going to buy your house. It is going to be easy peasy, and you are going to net more money.
Yeah.
Is how they've presented themselves. Well, now the FTC was like, yeah, that's not exactly true. You've deceived these people. And so they got slapped with the $62 million fine.
Yes. So the way that they were called out on deceitful practices was basically, and this is something that we've even talked about here on the show before, is they come in with these offers. So let's say your house is, say your market value, your house, when you look at comparables, realtor meets with you, they're going to price your house at $550. Open Door also runs comparables on the homes. They do the same thing, the same formula that we do, and they're going to come in and see that that's that market value price.
Right.
They know the realtors are going to quote you this price, so they're going to come in at $550, sometimes even $555, just to make sure that they get the sell.
Right.
Yeah.
But, okay, so iBuying, let's say 2017 to 18 was really when it was, I guess, at its peak, right? And the iBuyers were coming in and they're giving you fair market value, but I ran my home, my personal home, through the iBuyer programs when Redfin, Open Door, were, what was the other one, Purple Brick? I don't even know if that's still around anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something like
something
that.
like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, something like that.
Anyway, so I ran my personal home through it, and when I got the paperwork back, yes, they were offering me market value, but there were so many hidden fees and add-ons and prices that a 6% listing for me to net X amount of dollars with a traditional sale of a realtor and what have you was so much better than their almost 13% for them to sell it Open Door easy.
Yeah. I've
I keep
calculated.
it in my listing presentation.
Yeah, so do I. So
Yep.
do I. I've calculated their fees anywhere from 7 to 13, 14% on average. That's they say there's no repairs, but they do require a credit in lieu of. And one of the other things, like we all know, they're in the in the business of flipping homes,
Right.
right? So they're basically a flipper. But if they're going to walk in that home and they need new carpet for that flip, or they need new paint for that flip, they charge you.
Right,
Yeah.
they charge the seller.
You as the
They're
seller
not
are gonna pay.
absorbing that cost like a traditional flipper would take. Like, this is the cost of doing business. I have X amount per square foot that I'm going to spend. Blah blah blah. Yeah, no, it was completely different. But the public got dazzled by this quick iBuy, and they. Even though they got stuck with a $62 million fine, in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. They're almost a $5 billion company.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. But I do think that it's going to be eye-opening because the FTC is going to force them to do more honest practices if they do stay in business, which is going to be that this is their model. This is how they've been doing business. And this is just the beginning because there's a lot of iBuyers that are doing the same thing, that have the same practice. So
The
I
same
think that we're
deceptive
going to
practice.
see
Yeah.
we're going to see a lot more of this come out, and it is a shame. There's times that I've spoken to people that didn't contact me first, even times that there's past clients, and you talk to them and they sold their home to this company, and you're just like, why did you do that? You lost so much money. You left so much money on the table. So
Yeah, but that's not their fault. It was literally deceptive practices. They were given a shiny object being like, we're going to make it easy. You're going to make the most money. I love it. You want $550? Here's $550. But they're paying on those back ends and those fees and those fines. Not fines, fees and I guess other, I can't talk, amounts of money that they're charging you.
right. So our statistics came out for closed units in July. So this is the first time I've seen it below 3,000 for a while. So our closed units in July were 2,893.
2893. Wow.
Yeah. So just to give you an idea of where that is from the months prior, June was 3,655. June was when we started to see the slowdown. That's when we started to see the market change. And March of this year, 2022, our closed units were 4,517.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's slowed down. They've pumped the brakes a little, but business is still happening.
Yeah. So what are you seeing at like the listing table, the buying side, when you're going over like numbers and comps and everything with that?
When we're looking at things, I'm finding it more important to price to not what had previously sold, but what is our current and active competition.
Absolutely.
Because every seller has their own motivation, right? And it's important for us as agents, when we get to the table, we need to have those conversations and really figure out what their motivation is for selling. And so once we find their motivation, that's where we'll really know how to price that home accordingly. Because
Absolutely.
if they are in need of getting out of that home as quick as possible for whatever reason that may be, we need to make sure we're pricing to the active competition and showing better, having more open availability, getting people in and out of your home, and just having an overall marketing presence.
Right. So that's one
100%.
thing I've changed on my presentation and running comps as well. I look at what the last home sold for just to get kind of a general, idea, but it's what's available for sale within 2 miles.
Right, because now we're in a comparison market.
Yeah.
There's options.
Yeah. If you're selling a single story, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, what are all the single story, 3-bedroom, 2-baths going for in the area? Because that's going to play a factor. So yeah, we're having to check more against what we're selling and what else is out there that's similar to see if we have a chance of performance. So yeah, that's a thing that's changed in our market. Another thing, headline that's come out is Las Vegas, and you spoke a little bit about this earlier, is Las Vegas is cooling faster than a lot of the other markets.
Yeah, and not substantially, so I don't want to scare anybody with that. But yeah, another report, I can't remember if that one was from the Wall Street Journal, that we were one of the top cooling markets, that we are slowing down faster than anybody, but we're not at a screeching halt, but we definitely have been like, whoa, let's see what we're doing here.
Why do you think that is?
School's coming back. I mean, this
Yes,
is typical.
this is true.
Pre-pandemic,
This is July.
this was very typical in our market. So what we're seeing is people are prepping for school. School starts Monday, yay!
Yeah.
So kids are going back. Parents' focuses have changed a little bit right now, and that's just been traditional over the years.
Every year in Vegas, July 4th, and it's 4th of July. It's
Yep,
always
it's
on
always.
the day. 4th of July, the market slows down. It could be
Substantial.
because we hit triple digits. It could, and this year we got rain, and nobody in Vegas wants to go outside when it's raining.
I do. I
thank
love
you.
it.
No, did you see 10 million videos of the rain on Facebook and social media?
Okay, so I'm the big TikTok fan, right? So as I'm scrolling through, it was all these TikToks about people in Vegas going outside to take pictures of the rain. The rest of the country must think we're insane, right? We're posting all over Facebook like, water drops on my windshield. Look at my plants are happy. And yeah.
We're not used to water.
Yeah. Well, there's always the running joke, like if you wash your car between July 10th and August 10th, it's going to rain. So
Yeah, well, good. There must have been a lot of car washing because we have gotten a lot of rain. It looks like it's going to rain again today.
it is. It's so beautiful and windy and cloudy outside.
Yes.
And we need it, so let's do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that does affect. This really does affect. It affects open houses. We all know you never want to have an open house when it's overcast because if it starts raining, no one's coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
Like people won't get out of their vehicles. They're not
'Cause they're
used to
allergic
this
to rain.
water. They'll melt. I don't know what'll happen, but it is not. No one wants to be outside. If it's windy, they don't want to be outside. If it's too hot, they don't want to be outside. So Vegas is different there. Like, we rarely know our neighbors. No one comes out. No one socializes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think it's a combination, like you said, kids going back to school, interest rates. Then you've got all of the people who are like, I'm going to wait for the market to crash to buy. And I'm getting in position to buy that, all the foreclosures and stuff. But so many people have equity in their house. that I don't see a lot of foreclosures. I haven't been talking to anybody doing any notice of default or anything. Have you guys?
There's 44 foreclosures on the market right now
Oh,
across
all
all price
44?
point.
Yeah.
So
All 44?
44. That's nothing to.
Can I just pick up those 44 to add to my portfolio?
Yeah, I'll be posting that as a foreclosure list. You want it? Here's 44 homes.
Pick your favorites.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot. People still have equity, and I do think that the market is not as bad as everybody thinks it is. It's just panic right now.
Well, we get the headlines like, the Las Vegas market is cooling faster than anywhere in the country. Yeah, we've slowed down. It's true, but we're not that far. I think it's like we're 24% and Seattle's 22% and Milwaukee's 19%. It's not drastic.
The truth of the matter is those headlines are just making buyers not want to move forward with their
And it's
plans.
such a good
but
time
they
for
still
them
have,
to have options.
I know, but they still have the plans. These buyers are going to buy still. The buyers that, how many buyers were you working with, Leah, that didn't purchase a home? That didn't purchase a home over the last year because they got beat out with competition, because the market got too challenging for them, that just decided to hold off. I had
Buyers
so many.
Buyers defeat. And that was the really hard part for so many of them. And so these are the calls now I get to make that I'm super excited to have. That, come on, let's welcome you back to the market.
Yes.
Where you can now get closing costs covered by some sellers.
They're
which
like,
is crazy.
What? I don't need $30,000 extra. I've been trying to save,
Right.
and
So that's such a great feeling to be able to come and tell people. So when we're telling this is a great opportunity for our buyers to come back in this market and position themselves and start accruing equity over time rather than renting and throwing away money.
Right.
And those entry level buyers, there were no homes under 400,000. Like, you couldn't find one.
No.
You couldn't find anything. You were lucky to find a condo, and now there are many. There's a lot to choose
There's option.
from.
Yeah. I have 32 under 350 in a cart right now.
Wow, that's amazing.
crazy.
Yeah, so there's options. Yeah, all of these buyers, they didn't give up. The news is scaring them. They've backed off, but they didn't give up.
No,
They're
they'll
gonna be
make
back.
their way back onto the market, which is so nice because in the spring they were getting beat out. There was no options. Now it's to the point where you tell your buyer, just pick your favorite one and we'll write an offer. And they're usually getting into contract. There's no writing on multiple properties. There's no begging and borrowing with list agents. What does your client want? How can we sweeten this deal? What can we do to make this a viable option for my buyer?
Yeah. I was showing houses the other day, and I had, after my showings, I had 5 showings, and 3 of the seller's agents reached out to me with offers for my buyers. One of them was like, "Hey, we'll give them a $30,000 credit," and I was like, it's they had propositions for the buyers, like, tell them this, if they make an offer, we'll do this.
Oh yeah, I feel like a rock star. I open my email and it's got reverse prospecting from list agents. Like, I see you sent this to my client. I love it. Just so you know, they're offering a carpet credit, or we'll pay closing costs, or we're this and we're that. And I'm just like, I love it.
Yeah, no, it is time to shine. Get out there, get your home right now, because this is the time. This is the time. So motivation is the key element right now for sellers.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're not motivated, you
This
really
isn't your
shouldn't be on the market.
Yeah, no.
You really shouldn't. Those people that are like, oh, I just want to put it out there and see if it will sell, or I'm still talking to the people that say that, like, they want it overpriced and they're not going to budge on the price, and they're going to wait for the price to come back, and as inventory stacks up, that price, the chances of getting that
Right,
price
it's
are
not
lower.
likely.
Yeah.
It's not likely. No need to be greedy. And if they have to rebuy, at least they're buying in a more, I guess, vast market, so they have more options.
Yeah. The thing is, it's you're not losing money by adjusting your price to market value. You're saving your equity.
Yeah.
Because if it sits, it sits. And then you don't get any equity. Congratulations.
Yeah. If our market does have a 20% correction and we're at a 10% spot right now, do you want to hold out? Do you want to take that 10% correction instead of hold out till it's 20? I don't know if it's going to get to 20. It could stay at 10. It could go down. We don't know what is going to happen, but you need to save your equity before it starts to vanish.
Yeah.
Only takes 3 homes to sell in the neighborhood for your price of your home to typically shift, right?
Absolutely.
So when you're looking at that, if someone gets desperate and needs to sell,
Well, I seen it. I told you that $400,000 house.
Yeah, save 60 grand on it.
Yeah, and that is the other neighbors. I mean, they've got to be
livid.
furious.
Yeah.
There's other homes that were listed in the neighborhood that were listed reasonably, and that person just killed it for them. So it's there, and that's going to happen, especially in the environment that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree 100%.
All right, so Leah, how do people reach you if they want to talk real estate, get some more options, talk some more about what's happening? And
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to be able to speak with anyone. My contact information is on there. I'm best found at 702-381-2040. Feel free to check out my website for current inventory as well, www.eluciant.com.
all right,
Nice.
wonderful.
All right, Trish, how do people get a hold of you if they want to talk real estate?
You can call me, 702-308-2878. Again, we are taking listener questions, vegasrealtycheck@gmail.com. So you can just email us directly and we will take your questions there. And Tiana, how do people reach out to you?
Talk to me, people. Call me. Text me at 702-379-9948.
All right, and we're going to be here every week, Thursdays at 9:30, and I'll see you next week.
So make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget that.
Yes,
Come back to us.
Like, share, subscribe, download. You'll be notified every week when we post a new show. And thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week.